Hey y'all, I'm just doing a voiceover on this part because I was in the living room and my daughters were asleep on the couch. Right now I'm just laying all my squares out in a pattern, just lining everything up on my fusible fleece. This was kind of a tedious process. I did prior to this kind of put them in a pattern that I wanted, and then I put a little sticky note in which row was what, so I kind of already had it laid out and ready to go. This experience with this was quite different than a lot of the other videos I saw online, so I am just happy that we made it this far. So I'm going to iron straight onto the table, but not before I crunch up this wax paper extremely loudly. While my daughter's asleep on the couch and my dog.
My girl slept in the couch last night.
So I'm fixing to put this hot iron right onto those square pieces, and I am going to fuse that fusible fleece right into my table. I heard this tip about using the wax paper, and it helps not get glue on your iron.
It's not fusing.
I guess the wax paper didn't work as well as I wanted it to. I've still been using that technique with other projects that I've done. I did, since this video, I have invested in a small ironing board for a tabletop. So I no longer will iron on my table. Just watching me do that makes me cringe, but hey, when you're desperate and you have a brand new sewing machine, you do whatever you gotta do to make it work. You can just see the steam coming out of it. So I'm just pressing all of those down. I got all of those fabrics from the Dollar Tree. I got all of that fusible fleece that I'm using from the Dollar Tree. It was actually on clearance for 25 cents. So I got a bunch of fusible fabric for 25 cents.
It's stuck to my teeth.
And it's a pretty big square of fusible fabric. I don't know. To me, the quality seems like it's pretty decent. But again, I'm brand new at sewing, so I don't really know what's good and what's not good. And there we have it. So I'm going to cut the extra piece of fusible fabric off the bottom. At this point, I did not have a rotary cutter, so I was doing everything with shears. I am hoping and praying that this is going to come out decent, because at this point, I feel like I need to throw the whole thing away and start over. And it's a little discouraging, but that's what it is. Doing it this method, I don't know why I chose to do it this way, because it looked easier because of the tiny little squares that I made, but it's actually really hard because if your squares aren't perfect, it screws it up. So now I'm basically trying to fix my mistakes if I can. So I'm pinning it all this way, and then I'm going to come across and I'm going to sew down this seam in hopes of holding it in a place that I need it to be held. So I'm just going and adding pins where I need it to be sewn. Pins are what you need, the OGs. Ow. That's where you wear a thimble. I don't know, I've seen a lot of sewing videos and people are saying that it's so simple and easy, and this is what I made my first time, but it's hard to believe that those are first projects. Maybe I'm just being a hater, but because keeping everything lined up and everything straight. Mind you, I did cut my squares from a crazy tiny little piece of thing. And now I'm running out of pins, so I am going to pin the most important parts. So first, pin these parts that are important to me, and then I'm going to come back and sew, and then I'm going to stop and I'm going to repin where I need a pin. I wish I would have had something better to use to cut my squares, and I did each square. I only folded my fabric in half, so I only got 2 squares out of each thing. So the squares are pretty much all different sizes. So at this point, I'm sewing the back of this to lay flat to cover some of the gaps and holes that I have. I'm fixing to flip it around and show you. I wish I would have had this tool that I have right here now. Well, and I wasn't expecting for my squares to be so small. Honestly, I don't know what I was expecting. I just was measuring some little squares to make a little blanket and just went with it. So I didn't really have expectation. I just was kind of like, well, this is what the video says to do, so that's what I'm gonna do. But clearly, there's parts of the video missing. This shape cut, this is the shape cut that I wish I would have had. It has the lines here so you can actually put your rotary cutter and cut through it. Also, I bought me a good rotary cutter. I was using a Dollar Tree one. We don't have a local Walmart or fabric store here where I live, so I had to wait until I got to a town that did have those things. So I was just kind of using what I had at the time. So after I sew it, this is kind of how it's gonna look. I do have some like gapping and stuff, so I'm trying to kind of fix that with the layering of the blanket. And I still have to put the back on. This is without the backing. I have to put the back on still, so I think it's gonna be okay. It's gonna end up coming out a lot smaller than I would have liked, but it's for my niece, so she loves the animals, so she's gonna love it. Is it straight? No. Is it perfect? No. My next one will be better. My next one will be better. Come back. We're gonna make another one, but we're gonna do it in a completely different way. And first, let's finish this up. Let's finish this one, see how it comes out, and we'll go from there. So I just made a homemade heart, and I'm using a zigzag stitch because I had a piece of my blanket here that wasn't quite lined up and it was bothering me, so I just cut a piece of a heart to try to be creative and fill the hole really that I needed filled. So we'll see how this looks in just a few seconds. And I'm scared about this piece. I don't want it to be. It's kind of getting pushed. I am just filling the heart with stuffing. More than you think you need is what I've heard. So we are doing more than we think we need. Okay, so we're gonna come here and we're just not gonna overthink it, and we're just gonna see how it goes, because the zigzag's gonna pull the fabric. Is it gonna be perfect? Probably not. But remember, it's gonna be cute. It's made with love. That's what's important. No, I didn't backstitch because I am using a zigzag stitch, so. Is she perfect? No. But the next one will be better. Perfect? No. Better, yes. I am continuing to sew down. I'm sewing to the backing and the batting. Backing and batting. That's what I'm sewing right now. So the hardest part of this sewing these seams is that my lines do not match up. I'm like so impressed with the people that have made their blankets and stuff, and they're like beautiful. But I will say, I did this completely wrong. I saw one video and I'm like, I'm gonna do it that way because it seems easy. No, girl. It's hard. Do the extra stuff. But this is all Dollar Tree fabric. I was impatient. I don't want to wait for my fabric. So, but my blanket that I'm going to make for myself, I'm going to do it the right way. Yeah, I'm going to do it the right way. I'm not going to be impatient. I definitely feel like going at this little bit of a faster speed has really helped my stitching feel better, but I might be wrong. I might not know anything about this, but so we are sewing, backing and batting. Right here that I'm gonna go down this one, just a straight stitch because I have a loose spot. So I'm just trying to follow this other one that I have right here, which the slower the better, so I can see kind of what's going on. I'm trying to see what's going on without really knowing what's going on, you know? All right, so I have a lot of gaps. Let me find one. So I have a lot of open spots right here. I don't really know what I should do. So I think I'm just gonna go and I'm just gonna run down with a straight stitch. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm doing a cute stitch, not a straight stitch. Oh. It's just hard whenever you do a decoration stitch to see if it's like actually getting what needs to be stitched. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You can't really tell, see? You can see it on that gray, but there's just a lot of pattern on the fabric. Okay, so I'm gonna do 40 because this stitch, you couldn't even see anything and it's just making a stitch mess. So we're gonna go to 40. We're gonna make sure our thread is under. I'm gonna pull it back, down. Make sure I'm kind of rolled up so I can control my fabric better. I have no idea what to expect. I've never used this number before. This stitch is taking so long. I'm trying to go slow. I feel like I am going slow, but knowing I have 9 rows of this, it's taking a long time and we don't even know what it looks like yet. Going faster is a little bit, it seems like it's a little bit faster than, or better. Don't look at how not. This is a racetrack, but don't look at how crooked this is. But I feel like going with a little bit more speed than I was on these stitches seem to be a little tighter than what these stitches are, these stitches. And I'm still I'm gonna get some stitching done. Right now I'm working on these and I'm doing a cute pattern. I'll show y'all here in a minute. Right now I'm gonna work on this one where the heart is. So I'm gonna do this, trim, do this part. So I'm gonna do it in 2 pieces. Is this the right way to do it? I have no idea. but we're figuring it out together. Here we go. I'm gonna order, actually, I'm gonna go to the thrift store today and see if I can find an old curtain or something that's lace so I can put it on the edges to kind of finish it. So we'll see. I thought I was doing the easy way. What happened was I got impatient and I didn't want to wait for my fabric to come in, so I did Dollar Tree fabric to try to make a little blanket, and so I'm doing it a different way, and I actually think this way is going to end up being a lot harder. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it over and do this side. So I'm going to have to fold this back, I guess, just a tiny bit to finish the blanket. Well, at this point, it's not even a blanket. I am still working on my stitching down. But I'm going to add my backing and I'm going to stitch across. I'm almost done. Okay, so first, I would never do this technique again. I use the interfacing technique where you cut out your squares individually, you lay them all the interfacing. Well, I mean, I guess you've already watched the video if you've made it this far through the video. I will not do this technique again. I am fixing to make another one, or I'm gonna make another one where you sew each row together and then you sew that blanket together vertically. So that's what I'm gonna do next. I folded this row to meet this row to meet this row, and so as I did that, it took away part of the blanket. It just took that fabric away. So in that, it created this blanket being a lot smaller than what I had intended it to be, which it's fine. It's for my niece and she's gonna love it. I did add the little ruffle. I watched a quick video, but also, like, it's not really finished. Like, the edges are not really finished. I didn't have any, what is it called? Like, seam finisher. I don't know. It's like the thing you put on the end. I do have that now, but I didn't have it then, so I didn't use it. But I'm just ready to get this to my niece and move on to the next project. But it's definitely a learning experience. I liked it, but the technique, I don't recommend. Do not recommend the interfacing technique. Putting it on the interfacing, ironing down, cutting each individual one out, matching them up in your pattern. It was so tedious. It was so tedious and it took me forever. I actually set this to the side for a few days and just left it alone. And then I finished it, and then I needed to wash it, and I washed it, let it dry. And so it's just been hanging out here waiting for me to record a video. And so here we are. This is it. I did it. I mean, this is my first project, and overall I'm happy with it, but I'm ready to just move on to the next thing and see what other projects I can mess up and try to save. So anyways, this is my blanket. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see my next project that I'm going to be working on. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a cutesy. I have my sample right here. It's going to be a little bag. We're teaching ourselves how to do all the things so we can just get bigger and better.